Meet the Expert, a knowledge-sharing initiative of your knowledge partner, the Developing Bangladesh. We discuss on trade, investment, commerce, education, skills, economic development, global peace and prosperity, etc. issues. If you are interested to these issues, please subscribe to the channel. Developing Bangladesh, your knowledge partner, please subscribe now.
System works, the counterbalances and checks that we have in place to make sure that the correct tax is being paid. So these are the various routes. I appreciate it's getting a bit complicated on the national insurance side, but I thought you would like to see how it's all funded. That is actually the employer and the employee, both of them, who are contributing to national insurance in order to cover the National Health Service and unemployment benefits and retirement benefits and bereavement and so on. Okay. So this is a pay-as-you-earn. I just wanted to show what it looks like, the RTI, and this is actually the summary that we get after we submit all of the information. Again, it's not long-winded at all. You put the information, how much they pay, and the software allows it all to be automatically calculated now. And then it's submitted, and then you get the summary back. This is what you get as a submission that you can keep for your own records. Okay, this is the government gateway I was talking about. I thought you would just like to see what it looks like. So we get the government gateway user ID, which is here. And then we get the password, and then we go in, and then you can go for VAT, pay. It's all got its own sections, corporation tax, pay as you earn. We've even got money laundering registration as well through our government gateway, income tax as well, self-assessment. So everything is done online through our government gateway accounts, and we can have more than one. You know, we don't need to. We can have a couple. Depending on the purpose, but everything is now done through the government gateway, everything. Okay, I thought out of interest, I put this in because I deal with investigations. So I deal with the point where this, like if I go back, this has been submitted and it gets picked up for investigation. So HMRC then, oh, there's something a bit not quite right. The ratios aren't correct. Like the expense is too high and the sales is too low. So this there's risk assessments that go on, and HMRC says this doesn't look quite right. It pops up, it flags up in the system, and then they will do a further risk assessment. So we have a whole department called RIS that does the risk assessment, which then goes on. Then it gets allocated to compliance caseworkers. Not only that, but when the risk assessment is done, HMRC has a third-party information database, which is very, very powerful. It's actually called Connect. And on Connect, it has access to a lot of many third-party sources. So it's got connection to where we register our cars, DVLA, to the pensions, other areas of the government, even our credit rating agencies, our voting list, valuation office. It's got access to land and registry as well, so they can see which individuals has what properties where. So not only that, HMRC also does further checks. They check Facebook. You know, once it's flagged up, they will do a thorough risk assessment. They check Facebook, Twitter, online, even TripAdvisors I've seen reviews on Google Business and so on. HMRC will risk assess everything. Once that tax return has been flagged up to be investigated, HMRC will do a thorough investigation, absolutely thorough. And the amount of parties and third-party information they have is, you know, that at this point, there really isn't actually any point in hiding anything or concealing anything, because HMRC has direct information from the banks. They know what bank accounts you have. They know who you bank with. They know how many properties you have. They know who's living in those properties. They know who you're with you. They know what type of car you've got. So they have access to a lot of information. Not only that, they've also got access to the actual merchant acquirers, the card information. So any payments that have that the company receives or the business receives, any card payments, they have access to that as well. So they can see like how much payment is being made to the business by card. So they have a lot of risk profiles, which, for example, restaurants have come up on. So the restaurants have come up and they say, we know that you actually haven't been declaring all your online sales, because we can see from your card sales, it doesn't match up with what you're declaring on VAT, because VAT you're getting on a quarterly basis. So HMRC has access to a lot of third-party information that probably in Bangladesh, they would have to do it manually. You know, you'd have to look at that and do it manually, and not as with such easy access that HMRC has at the moment. So that is probably the thing that keeps people, think, okay, we need to make sure that we submit our tax returns accurately, because HMRC is keeping an eye on the trends, on the ratios, on any risk that gets flagged up. And once HMRC investigates it, it can be a long investigation. So I haven't seen any investigation that is quite rare, less than a year. That's how much detail they go into. At the same time, HMRC also has a lot of voluntary disclosure programs as well. So where they may prompt the taxpayer kind of saying, we've seen something and we think you haven't been correctly declaring your tax. If you want to declare it, if you want to put that right, you can submit a disclosure here. And so that way the taxpayer thinks, hang on, HMRC knows something and they're right, because I haven't actually declared this as I should have. So they're given an opportunity to declare it correctly with a penalty, but it's still a better position than if HMRC prompts the investigation, because it'd be more costly for the taxpayer and the penalties will be a lot higher. So there's various, counter checks and balances that are going on. So that's kind of an outline of what I've given of the main taxes, because we've got capital gains tax as well. So that is when the house, apart from if you're living in the house, you don't pay capital gains tax on that. But if you have other properties and you've been renting them out, or you have more than one property and you've not lived in them, because they deem that when the value goes up, you've made a profit, and therefore the British government says you should pay a tax, because that is an asset that you have gained from, and therefore you need to pay tax on that. So the basic rate, which for income tax is 20%, but for capital gains tax is 18%. And then you've got the higher rate. So when you reach the over 50,271, you pay 28%. Again, that's like the standard kind of capital gains tax. There are exceptions to that. And similar to income tax, where you have 12,570 personal allowance, you also have 12,000. The first 12,300 is tax-free of any gains that you make. Is that we've compared quite a lot with Bangladesh as well, the system as well.
Actually, it is everything is online there. So how much you are getting payment by selling anything online, it is recorded. And how much payment you are making to XYZ companies, your partners, it is also recorded. So it is easily identifiable. But in Bangladesh, as many things here, we are doing over cash, as well as out of banking network, out of banking channel, all the briberies, all these, everything. So therefore, there is a scope to hide it. But Therefore, we should move towards digitization, towards online transaction, towards cashless society. Then obviously this system will be implemented in Bangladesh as well. So this online system, it is not only ensuring your satisfaction or ease of doing things, but it is also ensuring that there is no space for corruption.
Developing Bangladesh, your knowledge partner. We take care of trade and investment, education and skills, economic diplomacy and economic development. If you would like to keep you updated on these issues, please subscribe to Developing Bangladesh. Thank you very much for watching till the last.